Have you ever wanted to make Great Axe users just run away from you? Or are you just looking for a build that has a crazy name like the Double Fister? If so, if either one of those two are something you're interested in, then get ready for a really fun build. All right, let's get started. Hey guys, Parfax here. Today I'm bringing you another build video. So I'm not gonna lie, I may have recorded this video before. I looked down at how long I've been recording for. We hadn't got to any PvP gameplay. I haven't even got to a lot of it, and we were at 20 minutes, and I thought that was completely unacceptable. So we're gonna try to blast through this build video because we don't want the super long build videos, but there's a lot of stuff to go over. So first, you're interested, you saw the title, the Double Fister build. If you realized what I'm talking about, I imagine you did. We are running the Void Gauntlet Ice Gauntlet. Now, for those of you that have watched my videos before, we do have a build video with Void Gauntlet and Fire Staff. This is semi-similar, but it plays quite a bit different. So first, let's talk about really quickly the Void Gauntlet. Here's the tree. It is the exact same as the last tree. The only thing I will say is you can take off Invigorating Oblivion if you want a little bit more leeching from Leeching Blades, but I don't heavy attack that much with my Leeching or my Void Blade here. So I don't really take that, and I go with more group utility based with Invigorating Oblivion. I'll let you guys look over the tree. If you're interested in these two passives and why I take them, we don't use Deadly Range that much. We sometimes do, but we're really looking for Radiant Efficiency here. This is a very mana intensive class and very mana intensive build, and this gives us a very nice mana costs are reduced by 25% while above 50% mana. So it's going to give us a nice mana cost reduction on our abilities. Next, let's go over the Ice Gauntlet. The Ice Gauntlet, I think it's fairly standard. I don't really look at many people's builds. The only thing that I will say is if you're playing against people with a lot of debuffs, which at this point most people are, I would take away Defiant Freeze and I would go with Cleansing Tomb. It's a very good ability. It cleanses all debuffs. It's pretty insane. I've been testing out Defiant Freeze and it's really nice. We're stacking a lot of Fortify, but we really don't need it. We'd really probably rather have the Cleansing Tomb, so I would suggest you take that. But I've been playing with this and it's been just fine for me. Next, let's quickly go over attributes. So we are going a very similar stat line here. We are 300 intelligence, 50 focus, 100 constitution. I know you're like, Parfax, no you're not. I see it's 302, 50, 102. I know, but I have pretty high gear. I'll show you my gear score here in a second. It's pretty high. So odds are you probably won't have this amount of points. If you don't have this amount of points, I would just go 300 intelligence, 100 focus, 100 constitution, and then I would start putting points into focus. Now, the reason why I do like the focus here is because, like I said, it is a very mana intensive build. I thought about going into 50 points into dexterity. I talked about maybe going the 150 points into constitution, but the 50 points into focus does scale our Void Gauntlet up more, which we're going to rely on a lot in the Void Gauntlet damage. It gives us extra healing through the Void Gauntlet, and it gives us 10% mana regeneration. So it kind of stacks up a lot of things to where we're going this line. If you really don't have the 50 points into focus, don't worry about it. We're going to talk about a Void Gauntlet you can use that I am not using that actually has focus on it, which would give you another reason to possibly put 50 points into focus so you don't lose some extra stat points there. Now, this is without food or anything like that, so you can get an extra 40 points, and I'm missing, what, 6 points on my gear, so I can put more in there. So if I were to go full out with this build, we would go 350 and 150 would be the last point here. That 10% of critical damage taken is pretty big. All right, let's quickly go over the gear. By quickly, I'm going to do as quickly as possible. First, let's talk about my actual gear, and we're going to go over first the two big pieces that I changed from my last build. We are now getting, I made this helm, or I had somebody craft me this helm since the new change came out. We have intelligence, we have ferocious blade, we have blight resistance, which we don't care about, and we have invigorated. Weaken, disease, exhaust, and rends expire 7.5% faster. Honestly, we just wanted the Ferocious Blade on a heavy helm with intelligence, and we got lucky, rolled legendary, and got one pretty decent perk on it. Realistically, if you're going for best in slot, you want the 4 perks that you really want are going to be Voracious Blade. You're going to want Putrefying Scream. You're going to want the, I forget what it's called, but the Oblivion perk that strips their debuffs, and you're probably going to want Unending Fall, are probably going to be your 4 major perks. And then after that, we're going to be wanting to run things like Resilient as much as possible. We're going to be running things like Refreshing to get our cooldowns up. And then after that, it is kind of your preference. Invigorated is pretty good. Other things are, you know, you can go with as well. But from there, not many people actually have their best in slot armor. So I try not to give too many things, but if it's defensive, good. And get a couple perks on it as well. So you can see here we have a heavy helm. We are running heavy helm, heavy chest. There's our Putrefying Scream with intelligence on it. Then we're running a medium pair of gloves with resilient. We're running a light pair of legs with resilient. And we're running a medium pair of legs with, again, resilient. We want a resilient on as many pieces as possible. Now, let's talk about the jewelry. We're rocking some pretty nice jewelry, I'm not gonna lie. So we have a 598 amulet here with 24 int health and mana recovery. Here you want the best things would be, of course, your stat intelligence mainly. You have health, and then I actually want divine. Divine, a lot of people don't know, it says increase all incoming heals. That is everything. That is your regeneration rate. That is your pots. It is anything. Anytime you have healing at all, you're leeching, it'll increase it. That health and divine, if you can get that, absolutely crazy. And then we are running a piece of jewelry. Now, we haven't went over the weapon yet, but there's one kind of thing that I have come to really think that is pretty much needed for especially mage builds, and that is get extra critical chance. You don't crit that often with these. Now you can get backstab damage with the Void Blade, but I really want to push my crit as high, and with this ring we're running 2 different elemental types, so getting extra crit chance I think is absolutely key. I would get intelligence and I would get a keen awareness here. Those 2 together, boom, you have your ring done. We did get a pretty nice second perk there. The crippling slows you apply, lasts 14% longer, which is pretty good when we're running Ice Gauntlet. And then the last, we did spend a pretty penny on this nice little earring here. We have intelligence, we have refreshing toast, and focus. Here the big thing is refreshing toast is single-handedly the best earring perk you can have. I would be very hard pressed for anybody to argue that. It gives you so much extra health and mana with this specific perk. You can do the math. Just sit down one time and look up how much you get healed for your health pot, your regen pot, and a mana pot. You don't even have to put a focus pot on here. Pick, just do the numbers and then go, see, like, okay, I can put it up 25% cooler or shorter. I think that's the lowest percentage you can even get is 25%. At least the ill-gotten gains is 25 or 24%, something like that. Then just look at how much extra healing you get. So all you have to do is just, like, for this necklace specifically, the 28%, just figure out how much you actually get. So it restores 2,400 health plus 7% of your max health. So you can just take it, add those together, see how much health this thing totally gives you, and then times it by 1.28, and that's how much health it actually gives you. Or you can do times 0.28, and that is actually how much health just that one potion gives you every 30 seconds. You can basically calculate it that way is the best way to do it. And then you can calculate everything else, but we're not going to go into nerdy crap right now. But refreshing toast is the best. And then focused, this is a very mana intensive build. You don't need this perk. I just got it today, and I haven't. I think every clip you're going to see, maybe but one, has my gear without this. I had an original earring, which I can show you here in Windsward, I believe it is my original earring that I was wearing right here, which is refreshing toast, refreshing ward, which we're not going to be hit that many times anyway. That 1.7% doesn't matter much. We just got it for the 22 intelligence and the 26% refreshing toast. We want refreshing toast and we want our stat. All right, now let's go to the big weapons here. Now, before I was running 2 legendary weapons, but we've actually upgraded by downgrading. All right, so we'll go with the Void Gauntlet first. This one, realistically, it's kind of a push. We have a Void Gauntlet with Intelligence, Keenly Fortified. It's going to make me a little bit more tanky. But realistically here, I found that I absolutely love, and I think the weapons feel a ton better when we have Keen on them. I think all of the major weapons, Keen is my most needed perk unless you're doing PvE and you can do something like the flamethrower from behind to get that backstab damage. If you're not doing something like that, Keen is absolutely king in my opinion. You crit, feels like you crit so much more with Keen. You actually have crit, and that is the reason why we have it on our ring as well. We want as much crit chance as we possibly can get. We are running the I can't remember exactly what gem it is, but we're getting the execute damage. Really good, 20% damage against targets with less than 30% health. And then we have a very cheap weapon. Well, I mean, I paid 4K for it, but a 595 intelligence, Keen, vicious ice gauntlet. This weapon is absolutely insane. You can get better, of course. This is not your best in slot weapon. These are, in my opinion, the two best in slot perks for the Void Gauntlet. But the intelligence, the Keen, the vicious is really good, and we're of course running the 12% damage against targets with an active crowd control. Status effects, slows, roots, stuns. We're gonna be doing that a lot, and the Void Gauntlet is just basically gonna get an extra 12% damage. So when it comes to the perks on the Void Gauntlet, the things you're looking for are Keen, vicious, and enchanted are the main things you're looking for. Now, you can do things like plagued crits and stuff like that, but the big thing here, in my opinion, is Keen. Keen is so good on the weapon, it makes it feel so much better than when you don't have it. And then after that, enchanted, vicious, those are the three main perks. But any damage ability here, any way to buff your damage on your weapons, do it. The one thing that I want to let you guys know is when you're crafting your gear, try to never put your perks on your weapons. You're losing so much damage there. You want your perks on your armor. You don't want them on your weapons. Now, there's some weapons, which I'll show you here in a second, and you can get them on them, and it's still fine because they're good weapons. But realistically, you never, ever want to put them on your gauntlet. So if you're going to craft a weapon, you want to do, in my opinion, if you're doing the mage weapons, you're going to put Keen on it, or maybe vicious, but realistically, we're going Keen or enchanted, but I'm going Keen every time. So for the two kind of weapon, well, and we'll talk about the Void Gauntlet here. The Void Gauntlet, if I was to pick the what to get on here, Keen, enchanted, vicious, all amazing perks. And I do like the two plagues. You have plagued crits and the one with the heavy attack. I don't heavy attack that much. I'd probably go with Keen, plagued crits, and enchanted would be a really good overall debuffer type ability. But I still think the way we've had it set up, we have a putrefying scream that can give them a heal debuff already. We'll probably just want Keen, vicious, and enchanted are your three best perks. It's the most damage we're going to do, and it's something that is going to be absolutely bonkers. If you can get the back of targets, then, you know, something along the lines of a plagued crits might be a little better, but I don't even know if it works with backstabs. So, all right, now we've talked about the gear. Let's talk about the couple substitutes that you can craft yourself if you have a 200 armor or a 200 Arcana crafter. And that is the first weapon we're going to talk about is a really good one, actually. The Crystalline Curse is intelligence, has refreshing move, unending thaw, and enchanted. This is an overall pretty good weapon. Now, it is a good weapon, but Keen and vicious is quite a bit an upgrade over this weapon. We do like refreshing move, we do like unending thaw, and we do like enchanted, but again, we don't want an unending thaw on our ice gauntlet, so to me that is almost a wasted perk. And then refreshing move, which is good, it is just not a damaging ability, and we really want damaging on our weapons. And then when it comes to the Void Gauntlet, you can get the nothingness, which is right, oh, up in Shattered Mountain. We have the nothingness, which here it says it has intelligence focus, has life stealing, enchanted, and mortal siphoning. A very good weapon, but again, we really want Keen on our weapons, which is the reason why I swapped off and I tried to craft myself a pretty decent Void Gauntlet. All right, this build is going a little bit late, so we're going to give you a couple tips and tricks in how I play the build. We've talked about all the gear, attributes, everything like that. We showed you the trees. Let's talk a little about how to play this. Now, on this build, it's going to be more of almost a combo-based play. Now, you can do basically the same thing you did with the Fire Staff, where you just pull out your blade, and we're going to cleave people down. We're going to get a lot of healing from this, especially with Ferocious Blade. It's going to allow us to stay in the fight so much longer. We're going to have Oblivion to basically turn the tide. Putrefying Scream is going to allow us to heal cut people. It's going to allow us to CC them. But the one thing this build has that the other build didn't is basically the ability to combo. We have the ability to lock down one target, pretty much until he dies. So one thing you can do is use your CC to get a CC off. So I know that sounds dumb, but hear me out. So if you want to play this build basically melee, now we're going to talk a little bit about how you play this range, but range you're basically playing as a normal Ice Gauntlet build. You're just going to use your your Ice Shower, your Ice Storm to put people in there, and you're trying to heavy attack them, and you're basically just going to heavy attack and light attack your opponents down, light attack so you can keep your mana up. But once they get close to you, you're going to hit them, try to hit them with either a Scream or an Ice Shower. Once you hit them with once, let's say they're on us, boom, we get them the Ice Shower. Then you can put down the Ice Storm. You can get them with a heavy attack. You can then go back here, drop your Oblivion, Scream, there's CC'd again, and now we're going to Ferocious Blade for the win, and we have their backside. So if we have a, the Vicious on there, we'll be able to do a ton of damage, but even without it, you will absolutely cleave people down. Now, the reason why we want to do that is not only because it CCs them, but when you look at the Ice Gauntlet here, we have Frigid Showers, which Frostbite applies rend to targets, reducing their defense by 10%. This basically means once we hit them with this, it's going to rend them, which means we're going to do 10% more damage when we get on them. So it's a really good. So you can kind of play this as a melee bruiser because we are running medium armor, or you can play this as a kind of combo ability where you're taking and trying to chain CC everybody down with your Ice Showers using your Scream. You have a lot of CC, you have a lot of debuffs with this class. This is an overall, I think, going to be one of the best builds once everything gets flushed out in this new patch. Especially considering we're gonna get some buffs to the Ice Gauntlet here in the near future, and Fire Staff as well. We're gonna be doing some Fire Staff Ice Gauntlet builds here in the pretty near future. That's one of the things I'm working on next. But I got this build pretty fleshed out, and it's really, really good. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. There is going to be some PvP clips coming up really shortly here at the very end of this video. There are some decent little clips here. We got some small scale, we have some a little bit larger scale, we have some bigger fights, smaller fights, just a little bit of everything in there. We're trying not to make this video too incredibly long. It's probably going to be almost 20 minutes when it's all said and done, but I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comment section down below. Let me know if there's something you'd rather see in the video. Let me know what video you want to see next. If you want to see what builds, if you want to see whatever type of video you want to see, let me know in the comment section down below. For anything New World, any type of content, whatever, let me know. I'm here to help you guys and to have a lot of fun just playing the game that I'm really enjoying. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy these PvP clips here at the end, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
Alive can't put me in a box. I redefine any definition you got. I am the tiger, I'm making steps to the top. The flames, I whip it up, you just gotta hand me the rock. Take a seat, you cannot stand it. All I know, the flow harder than a Scotch bonnet. Don't try study me, you cannot manage. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. Yeah, you better listen. I'm bringing heat, you'll be a fan when I start rapping. Way I'll have your fucking head spinning. I'm known as spit vicious, release bombs and go tick tick. Boom, you blow me that head missing. I'm a phenomenon, stacking cheese like it's Parmesan. 8 different flows, call me Octomom. I'm moving fast like the Autobahn, and I'm independent, so I'm not your fucking starving like it's Ramadan. Sick, twisted, gifted, can't copy, printed, can't hold me down. I shape shift, I'm liquid. I killed this beat, I might get convicted. They know how I move, it was predicted. Persistent, spoke it into existence, so consistent, no assistance. Hear me once, become addicted. If I rap it, then I live it. There's no cap when I be fucking phenomenon. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.